I can still hear it. That's funny. It's like, hey, there's 14 viewers. How are all of you people watching? I'm gonna
What
echo.
is that in the background?
I don't know. I
Me.
hear echo.
It was me.
It was
Oh,
you.
you Jackie.
Let me look at the comments. I can't see anybody if they're saying anything. Okay, now I can. So, how's everybody today? Happy Sunday. Hey, Jeremy. How's it going? Anyone else that I can't see who you are yet? Hello.
Jeremy.
Thank you
Jeremy
for
gets
joining
out
us.
Monday.
And does he? That's awesome. That's good. Hey,
Hey,
Troy.
Troy.
Hopefully everybody's good. This is our first show of the year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
2022 with Hey Boo, Hey Crystal.
Yes. Hey, happy
Howard.
happy New Year. Yeah, there we go. I found my words.
That's funny. Happy New Dear Beer Fear Year. Happy whatever. Happy everything. How about that?
Yeah,
That
happy
covers
everything. I've had so many new beginnings in this new year already.
Happy future anniversary.
Let's just get it all done now. Just get it all out of the way.
Happy. Yeah. Hey, Linda. Happy every day that ends in Y. No. So today we're going to talk about things that actually happen in real life that inspired books, interviews, podcasts, stories, movies, TV series, or documentaries. I myself have been reading about Ed Gein and how he played an inspiring Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the movies and story behind that. Eileen has been looking and researching the story behind the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and books also. And I think that Lonnie and Jackie were going to talk about different parts of the Conjuring universe that are connected to each other, possibly, like The Devil Made Me Do It or Annabelle. Am I right?
Annabelle. Annabelle.
All right.
Devil made me do it. Yeah,
the devil made her drink a smoothie today. I don't know. The devil be starting at 2022. Not so bad then. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Don't trust it.
Yeah. It'll last about like 2 weeks, and then
Then you need to post motivational
Crystal,
things everywhere.
You. Yeah, I officiated my daughter's wedding yesterday.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about that last week. So, who wants to go first? Eileen, you want to go first with your Nightmare on Elm Street?
Actually, why don't we since One's new to the group, why don't we let her go first?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh,
you want to talk about the part of the story that you were talking about when we were before the show that one day and the people that you knew that were connected and stuff about the story.
I just because I grew up in Connecticut and I grew up with the family and knowing them, and I went to school with the daughter-in-law. I'm best friends with her still today, and we went to elementary school and grew up together, and then she married into the family and has the grandson now, and so they're really private family, so it's not like something we just sit around the table and talk about every time, because it's like something that's been in the past, and you just kind of like move on. But yeah, it became a movie. So and it's kind of like it almost doesn't even seem real that it's like, oh wow, it's a movie now, but the movie isn't like completely accurate. So they, things happened, and it did happen, but it's not like the way exactly how the movie portrays it. But yeah, I've met Arnie's amazing, and the family's amazing. They're private people though, and quiet, and so but really nice. So
yeah, I haven't actually seen the movie. I only know what I've read or seen on documentaries about that one. That's weird. I'm probably the only one of us that hasn't seen it, I'm sure. But
well, the funny thing is that I did start to watch the movie. I put it on and then I fell asleep. So in the middle of it. So, but then I meant to like watch the movie, but
I actually wanted to watch the documentaries first because I've heard the documentaries and the interviews were way more accurate with the information
Yes,
and how the
they were
events
way
played
more
out in the
accurate
movie.
and actually much more interesting, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm not I don't want to give the movie away for those that haven't seen it yet, but I would recommend the documentary first.
That's how I started. I'll
And
have
the
to watch
people
the
are
movie
amazing.
sometime.
And they're just loving, down to earth people. So, in real life.
That's always good.
A lot of times, movies do have to stray off quite a bit because they have to be entertaining because not everyone's into the same thing. So they have to kind of bring in different aspects of it and kind of stretch it out more than what actually happened just to keep people entertained.
I told Jeremy he needs to share a story with us because he said he wants to use a scary incident from a couple weeks ago to build something out of that. You have to tell us.
I don't know. He put the fright in all of us, not just himself. He gave us all heart attacks.
So, Jackie, what do you want to talk about Annabelle? What do you want to tell us?
About Annabelle?
Annabelle, the story or the doll? I know you're fascinated with the Annabelle doll and stuff.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with her.
Jackie's watching football.
Her scary story is when the Saints don't win.
Yeah.
Life in her house if the Saints don't win.
Yeah, something like that. So I watched the documentary about how. Oh no! Don't put me on the screen. I was watching a documentary. I watched a documentary about how Annabelle came about. Like, a mother of a nurse, a mother of a student nurse, and she gave a Raggedy Ann doll to her daughter, and as a present because they moved into her and a friend moved into this apartment, so it was like something to cheer up the apartment with, and and so she went to work and she laid the doll a certain way. It's supposed to be a real story about how Annabelle came about. So she laid the doll a certain way, and when she came home that night, the legs would be crossed, the arms would be crossed, are like the arms would be crossed and be looped over or something like that. She came home one night and the arm was sticking out like it was making a gesture or something. And so they I'm doing this by memory, so I'm trying to be good. Okay, so like crazy things were happening around their apartment, and
do you know what? Do you know what happened exactly? Did they say anything?
Yes, what was happening was that well, the girl was living with a roommate, another girl, and that girl had a boyfriend. They all came home one night, and the doll was like kneeling on a chair looking at them when they walked into the door. So they tried to they picked up the doll and they tried to do the same thing, like let the doll kneel on the chair, but the doll wouldn't kneel on the chair because the doll don't have no joints or nothing. So they figured a force was keeping it up, but they just couldn't figure out what kind of force or something like that. So the next thing you know, they started they come home every day and the doll would be in a different room every day. And then there was like these little sticky notes going around the apartment, like "Help me, help Kyle," and stuff like that. So they tried to figure out maybe somebody was playing a trick on them or something like that. So they set up like booby traps throughout the apartment to see if they could catch anybody like coming into their apartment. So none of that happened. So what they did was they called in a psychic to come in and see what's going on, and the psychic got tuned in with the doll. She got tuned in with a doll that a spirit of a 7-year-old girl. Okay, so
Here, Becca.
The 7-year-old girl used to play in the field before the apartment complex was built. She used to play in this big field and like play around and everything. But when this big complex was built, she couldn't play around in the field and she couldn't haunt nobody in the complex or in the hallways or nothing because there was nobody home. Because in that time, because this was back in 1970, all right? At that time, people were going to work and nobody wasn't home, so she didn't have nobody to play with, all right? So, um, the spirit talked to the psychic and said, ask the girls if it was okay for that spirit to go into the doll. And the
Mhm.
girls said yes. So the girls started treating that doll like a human being.
Mhm.
Okay. Then like weird things were happening, like people were being attacked. The boyfriend was being attacked because he was a septic. A septic. He didn't believe. He thought the doll was like a
Oh yeah,
voodoo.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
He
One of
he
those.
yes. He thought the doll was like a voodoo that would turn against them or tell him stuff and make him do weird things or something like that. But the dog got mad and went after him. So the next thing they did was they called in a priest who called in the Warrens, Elaine and Ed Warren, to come in.
Hmm.
And they told their story, except investigating this. They told their story of everything that happened. So
Mhm.
they said what it was it was a malicious entity that was in the doll. That when
Mhm.
they said yes, you could go into this doll, they really put a demon. A demon went inside this doll. Okay, so the Warrens took the doll home, and on the way home, they got stalled in the car like two times. Their brakes went out. Their the driving steering went out and everything, and so the third time when their car stopped, Ed Warren went and threw holy water on the doll, so some of the activity stopped. They were able to go home. So when they got home, he put the doll next to him in the chair, and um, every day the doll would be in a different room. They find it in a different room, or they hear growling noises and everything like that. So a couple of weeks later, a priest came and wanted to do a catch up on the Annabelle, what was happening with the doll and everything. And the priest picked up the doll and said, "Well, you're nothing but a doll," and threw it back down. And Ed and Lorraine Warren was like, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that," you know, because it's a demon inside. It's going to attack you, which it did. Because when he was leaving, Lorraine said, "Be careful driving. Something might happen. Just be careful driving." But 2 hours later, they got a phone call saying that his car was totaled and he was in a severe accident and died.
Yeah.
You know, um, they really couldn't tell if the story was real or not because they never investigated it. They took it by the people's words, But that's how Annabelle came about. I mean, did they put her in the glass box saying don't never touch, positively don't never touch the doll. So nobody, I guess nobody never investigated to see, you know, what was in the doll or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like investigated it to find out
Mhm.
if there was a demon in the doll or nothing like that. But that's how Annabelle came about.
I would say, based on Lorraine's reputation, if she had an inclination that that's what it was, then I'd just take her word for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, I watched some documentaries, and that's the one that really caught me to say what was Annabelle about and how did Annabelle come about. So that's the one I was talking about. I mean,
No, that's a good movie.
the one about the fields, how she played in the fields, is like one of the Conjuring they had, where she was back home and she was at the barn, and there was a school, a big open field, and everything. I could see how some of those that I said came into play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like Annabelle. I watched all the movies, every single one of them.
Yeah, they're good
I
movies.
didn't really know. I didn't really know that that
Entertainment
was
purposes.
supposed to be a spirit of a girl that used to play in the field there. I didn't actually know that.
Yes, it was a little girl, but see, what it was that the demon was coming into the psychic,
Mm-hmm.
wanting the girls to say yes, go into the doll, so the demon can possess the doll. It wasn't really a little girl.
It was probably
It was
pretending to
really
be one, I'm guessing.
it was really a demon that did it.
Yeah.
Now I asked how if that was true, and he said I don't know. So I mean,
How are you gonna tell you?
who knows? Who? I mean, is that the truth about behind Annabelle?
Yeah. I'd say we could do another episode one day about just haunted objects and possessed objects. Get
That's
more
what
into it
Annabelle
if you wanted to,
was.
yeah. And there's many like other notorious dolls that are
Yeah.
supposed to be possessed or haunted and different objects and things.
I want one. I do want a haunted doll. I can never find one.
I do too. I'm with you on that.
I can never find one.
There are some
I just
out
want to
there. I
see.
don't think they're that hard to
I
find.
just want to see what they do. I just want to have one right here beside me where I sit
You
and
want me to
find
send
out
you
what it
one?
does.
My friends from the Conjuring 3, my
Who said
friends there,
that?
they have a dinosaur. The Warrens have their dinosaur because the dinosaur is this little toy that their son had, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't supposed to talk. It was just supposed to roar, and it started to move across the room, walk across the room, and it actually talked and told them to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And dinosaurs not supposed to do that. Little dinosaur toys are just supposed to roar, and that's all. But this one actually spoke and freaked everyone out. So now they gave it to the Warrens to make sure that it's not in their house anymore. So, and I think I might have posted that picture of the dinosaur in my posts on my Facebook page when I did go there for Connecticut. But yeah, it's kind of creepy and real.
I think she's confusing the wrong story. She said Sleepless in Rest is the place where Annabelle lived, right? It wasn't like the original place, but I'm pretty sure the doll has made it to that house before. I'm sure that someone has taken it there or it's made an appearance there. But that was the original story about the family that lived there with the little, it was 5 kids, right? 5 girls, 5 daughters, and a mother and a dad. And the dad was gone, traveling all the time. And the mother basically started.
That's the Conjuring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think.
She
Yeah.
started to become
That's
possessed.
what is it? Perrons or Perrones? The Perron
Parents,
family.
yeah. Or I don't know. You might be pronouncing it better than me.
And Andrea is
yeah.
Andrea's really well known and friends with somebody
Yeah.
that I know.
Well, someone was asking if that was where Annabelle lived at, but that wasn't the
No.
original Annabelle.
It was in
location.
Connecticut somewhere.
Yeah.
Everything's haunted in Connecticut.
Yeah. Well, then you have a haunting in Connecticut too. Yeah, a haunting
Yeah,
in
yep.
Connecticut, which was probably one of my favorite.
Place.
Is that the one about the boy who got possessed?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yep.
And then you have La Llorona, which is my favorite out of all of those. Actually, I've always been intrigued by the La Llorona story and the Weeping Woman story.
What's that one about?
It's about a Hispanic couple that were together, and I don't remember exactly because it has been believed to have been started in another country like Spain or New Mexico or somewhere. But there was a Hispanic couple, a man and a woman, that were together, and they were madly in love, and then the man found another person, and when after they were married, he was hiding the fact that he had a secret lover, and the woman found out. Well, they had a child, and according to the story, to punish him, he drowned the child.
Wow.
And then she drowned the child to punish him, and then she drowned herself. And the Weeping Woman story is based off of a woman that comes back trying to I guess get the souls of children to replace like the fact that her child was passed away or something. In the movie, it's a it's in the United States in the movie though, I'm pretty sure. There's a priest that's involved in it, and he does some work to help the family that is haunted by La Llorona, but I don't know exactly where the story came from. I think it was New Mexico. I'm not sure. Or Mexico
I
or
think I saw that
Spain or
movie. There's only
Spain. I
one
don't know.
movie like there's only one movie out like that, right?
Yeah. Well,
I
if
have
it's
that
called La
movie.
Llorona, if there's another
Yeah.
story that's like a spin-off of that or like a knockoff of that that's about the Weeping Woman, but it's not called La Llorona. I don't know what it's called. So,
No, it's that one that you said. I have that movie
hey
here.
Beth.
I got all the Annabelles here. I got
Yeah.
Insidious.
Yeah, I like that story too. Um, I'll
It's so
go
weird
next, I
not
guess.
being able.
Huh?
It's so weird not being able to comment on anyone
Uh-huh.
on here. I hate Facebook jail. I hate it.
I've never been in Facebook jail, I don't think. So I don't know what it's like, I guess. But I've had reports, like you've been reported for false information or for reposting something that was not real or it was fake or something like that. I've seen that before. And on the Night Terror Collective page, we've had stuff like that before get flagged. Um, I was going to talk about, I had
Yes,
just looked up
Troy.
earlier today. Huh?
I was telling Troy, yes, I live in Facebook jail.
So does a couple other people from what they've said anyway. But I had looked up like criminals that inspired true stories or whatever or movies, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre had came up, and it was supposed to have been inspired by Edward Gein,
Hmm.
which in the 80s, no, in the 50s, excuse me, in the 50s, um he was raised by a really really strict family that told him that you weren't allowed to have premarital sex or anything like that out of wedlock. And his mom really preached to him to not touch women or think of them in any impure way. And hey, Joe. And so he grew up kind of with this like really weird distorted image, and he started to actually, him and his brother went like direct opposites. Like his brother, I guess, was like, oh, I'm gonna go date as many women as I can, and he became fixated with his mother being there, basically submitting to her every word and what she preached to him to not, deal with any other women. He became kind of fixated on her, and it's believed that he actually is the one that killed his brother in a fire. Like his brother ended up dying in a fire, and they thought that he did it, but I guess they didn't have enough evidence to stick him with anything. So, and then after that, when his mom passed away, he kind of went nuts, I guess, because it was the only woman he had really known. Because up until then, he had actually been like a babysitter in the neighborhood of people's kids. And everyone said how like awesome he was with kids and how like trustworthy he was, that they would leave their kids in his care. But after his mom passed away, he just kind of went nuts. I think they said he was schizophrenic, paranoid schizophrenic. Anyways, he dug his mother up and wore her skin and did some kind of weird rituals under the moonlight with her skin on him to pretend he was her, I guess, to feel closer to her because she was gone. Then one of the neighbors, I think the next door neighbor, that mom went missing, and the police came to question him, and he had blood on his hands, and they said that he said he went hunting and he was gutting a deer. And they questioned him about, they said, tell us what you've done all day. Like, tell us from the beginning of this day until the end of this day, everything that you've done. And he told them the story, and then they asked him to tell the story again, and he couldn't retell the story. So they investigated further and came in and found the woman next door beheaded, hanging from her feet and gutted like a deer. And her head was in a bag. And then they looked around and found, sorry, that's my computer. I don't know what it's doing. Update. They found lampshades, curtains, masks, bodysuits made out of women's body parts and skin, women's genitalia bottled up in like, I don't know if he used formaldehyde or what he used. And one of the reasons they originally started to even investigate him for the lady missing next door is because he had bought what's the stuff? Freon? What's the stuff you put in the air conditioner?
Freon.
Refrigerant.
Yeah, he had bought that the day that the lady next door disappeared, and he had became a recluse, and someone had seen him being extremely chatty and friendly to her. So, but he had literally they wanted to try him for all of these different bodies that they found in cadavers and body parts, and to get him to confess. But he actually said that he didn't murder most of them. He dug them up based on what they looked like. If they looked like his mother, he went to local cemeteries and dug up these women's bodies and brought them back home with him because they looked like his mom. So yeah, I was like, man, that's crazy. And then though, there's another story that's really similar. Silence of the Lambs. I actually thought they were both based off the same killer, but they weren't. Ed Gein was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre story was based off of him, and then Silence of the Lambs was based off of Gary Heidnick, which they called him Buffalo Bill.
Yep.
And he actually had some strange obsession with wanting to have as many women as he can locked in a dungeon of his house and chain them up and impregnate them to recreate and procreate more, like spread his own seed.
Just
So-
something we need out there.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
The
Yes,
lotion on your skin.
yes, Rebecca. I sent you
Yeah.
pictures. Is it snowing up there yet? Because I know it was snowing down here.
Where?
Rebecca's only about an hour north of me, and she's just posted it's snowing in Mississippi. And I know Tim's must be getting snow because he's like probably about 10 minutes from my house. So yeah, we've been getting snow here in good old Mississippi. Have y'all been getting it down in Louisiana?
Snow?
Mhm.
No.
Yep,
Snowing outside? They're
it
saying
was
snowing. It's snowing in Mississippi.
Well, in central
Yeah.
Mississippi and North Mississippi. Well, North Mississippi gets it more
Hey,
than
Bob.
central. We're like the area that never sees it.
Yeah. We had a little bit, but nothing good. Nothing fun. Nothing to wake up to and look forward to.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
also-
Snowing
sticking.
here? They're saying it's snowing in Mississippi.
The ground's too hot
Yeah.
for it to stick, so it's not sticking.
He's laughing.
Because hell finally froze over. That was back in February. That's what we would say. We went through a week worth of ice storm in February where we were all stuck inside. So that's when we all said
Where?
hell froze over.
February last year?
Yeah. February. It started icing February the
Yeah, we did too,
14th.
kind of. It didn't last long here, though. I wanted to also say, like, if anyone ever wanted to go by the original location of the Ed Gein murders, it's in Granger, Texas. It's called the Hewitt House, and I guess you can still go by there.
Damn. How many movies did they make of that? I know there's a couple.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was like 5 or 6 of them. I know there was 4 or
Now-
5 at least.
Is the house privately owned or do they?
I think it is because I had read an article and it mentioned the current owners now. I'll have to look that up. But that location is in Granger, Texas, and then the Buffalo Bill Silence of the Lambs inspired story took place in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
North Philadelphia.
Well, Rosie sounds like
That's my favorite
we're
movie.
doing some road tripping. We'll be going
I know, right?
I'll come to Texas.
I would like to go by and check out the Hewitt House.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Allen House in Arkansas. I'm looking at booking that.
The Allen House.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of the Allen House.
I'll send you some stuff on. Well, I posted on Facebook before I got banned. So
Who owns the Allen House? I think
I
I
don't
know
remember
who.
who actually owns it, but it's I posted. I put the link to everything on it. It's really reasonably priced, and you can have up to 6 people.
I feel like I talked to whoever is over the tours or something there.
It's in Monticello, Arkansas, I believe.
Okay, so I don't know all these houses. What is the Allen House based upon?
The Allen House, I don't know the full details of it. I know that this woman was madly
Yeah.
in love with this guy. He was supposed to, of course, he was
And he
married.
just left Jackie on there the whole time. You want to be on there, Jackie? No.
Yeah.
They found all these love letters between the two of them. He was supposed to leave his wife, and they were going to be together and spend their first Christmas together. Well, then he couldn't leave his wife, and she ended up killing herself over it all. And I mean, there's been other things there. And like I said, I didn't research too much. Hey, Chrissy, I didn't research too much on it, but I mean, for the, I was just kind of paying attention to some of the hauntings.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. So I did mine on, I keep wanting to say Nightmare Before Christmas because I just watched it like 50 million times. But I did mine on Nightmare on Elm Street. A lot of
That one was based on a true story?
it's based on true stories, like different
Wow.
aspects. Wes Craven was reading a newspaper article out of the LA Times, and he one of it was this where he got his inspiration. He read an article about a family who escaped the killing fields in Cambodia and managed to get to the United States. Everything was fine for them until their young son kept having disturbing nightmares. And he did not want to go to sleep. He kept saying, if he goes to sleep, the thing that's after him is going to get him and kill him. And so he went on a long stretch of not sleeping. And finally, the kid did fall asleep. I don't know the age of the kid or anything, but he finally did go to sleep. So the parents thought, okay, everything's going to be fine. He's going to wake up. He's going to realize that he can go to sleep and it's just a nightmare. Well, they heard him screaming in the middle of the night. So that before they could get to him, they found him dead in his bed. And then this kind of became a thing, especially if I'm not mistaken, it was kind of really in the Asian culture. They, in the late 1970s, many other stories of people started coming up about people dying in their sleep. And we all have heard that thing that if you die in your sleep, you die in real life.
Yeah.
But of course, we don't know what they were dreaming or anything like that. But right before the victims or the people would die, the people in the house would hear them screaming. So whatever it was really scaring them, where they would scream out loud. So I tried to find the newspaper article that Wes Craven would have read, what I would to get this idea from, but I couldn't find that exact paper. But the syndrome of people dying in their sleep was called Asian. What was it?
Is that the article you put in the?
Asian
You want me to
death
pull it up?
syndrome. Yeah, you can pull it up.
I'll pull it
This
up.
this isn't the article he read, but it was just kind of an article I found about it. But it was called Asian death syndrome. And but there's so much that he took from his real life, Wes Craven, to put into this movie. He got the visual of Freddy Krueger because this guy used to walk past his window. This creepy old man would walk past his window, and it would always scare him when he was younger. So that's who Freddy was like brought about as. But the name Freddy Krueger actually came from Wes Craven's childhood bully. His name was Fred Krueger. So I thought it was kind of neat because everything comes from something. We always hear that if you die in your sleep, you're going to die in real life, but we really don't know it. But everyone's died of just, I think one of the autopsies, I think the one I sent you, the autopsy came back heart attack. But they heard him scream right before they died.
Wow.
And like I said, that says refugees. So a lot of these were around the Cambodia refugees.
I'll make that bigger.
I don't know. That's what we keep you around for, Rosie.
Yeah. Hee hee hee. Let me see. Should be a magnifying glass option feature. That's not what I wanted.
Hey, we can see everything you've got on your computer now.
I know. Darn, don't look at my nudies. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, I was having fun with those.
They were yours. No, I'm just kidding. She sent them on
That's why
accident. No,
I
I'm just
couldn't
kidding.
see anything.
That's hilarious.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, Tim. I can see where heart attacks. I mean, anything scare you bad enough. It can cause a heart attack.
I guess that's how I can make it bigger, right? All right. Can you see it bigger now?
No, I can't see it. But
Same thing.
No.
I think it just went like maybe a scooch bigger, but it's okay. I mean, it's kind of just the gist of it. I wished I could have found the real article, but
April 1983, at least 130 Southeast Asian refugees have met their maker in essentially the same way. They cried out in their sleep and they died. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds kind of actually maybe almost like a curse on that culture or that location that it
almost
happened.
like anyone who escaped, there was something. Now, of course, I didn't find out if it was just amongst certain age groups, because I know, does it really matter? But I do know it was a lot of them were like children. I just don't know the age groups of the children. But yeah, while researching this project, did y'all know, and I didn't research this, did y'all know Jaws was even loosely based on a real story?
Yeah.
Jackie was telling me that just before the show. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. It was amazing, but I guess everyone's got to get their ideas from somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And real life seems to be scarier and crazier than fiction.
Yeah, the real life story of the Jaws is pretty bad too. Because I watch Shark Week every year. I'm huge.
Now, when I watched Jaws, I was little, so all y'all can really laugh at me. It took me forever to be able to take a bath again because I was so scared of getting in a bathtub because I thought this big shark was going to come out of this little spout.
What?
For a kid, I said it took me forever. I could watch. Me and my buddies all sat down and had a marathon on Nightmare on Elm Street. No problem. I watched Jaws. I couldn't take a bath for weeks. I had to take showers.
Yeah, me
I was
too.
scared a shark would come out of a spout that big.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how Howard always comes up with like toilet demons and stuff like that. Because growing up, I used to be afraid of toilet demons, literally.
Yeah. Did you watch Ghoulies? Ghoulies? The movie Ghoulies?
Ghoulies or Goonies?
Okay, there's a movie Ghoulies that had little goblins that came up out of the toilet, and they were green, and they had sharp teeth and sharp nails. And the front of one of the movie covers is a little ghoulie coming up out of the toilet. Yeah,
it's probably where it came from then.
Yeah, they're gonna bite your tushy off.
Yeah, I was always afraid.
Can they bite my stomach off?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, or cellulite. Please.
My cousins used to always tell me about the Tidy Bowl Man, and we used to go camping a lot and go to the outhouse. I was like, the Tidy Bowl Man.
Yes.
Hey, Gabe. But I didn't say hi.
Yeah, my babies aren't babies, so I don't know much about Baby Shark. The rest of the girls might can answer.
Yeah, I think Cujo was based off of a true story also. The movie Cujo about the dog. There's some true story that it's based off of, actually.
Yep.
And The Shining.
Yep.
Partially true story, too. The guy went up there and was a writer, and he took his family up there to get inspiration to write, because I think he had writer's block, and he went insane. So.
How about The Exorcist? That's a true story.
That one's based off of a true story also, yeah.
That one messed me up for my whole life. I
think we all try to stay away from like the in your face. With Shaggy, we knew which one you were going to talk about, but I think the rest of us try to stay away from the in your face ones because we all thought each other was going to do the in your face ones. like The
Yeah.
Exorcist, and
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was that was like the worst movie I was ever allowed to watch. Like,
Yeah,
what
it
was
was
wrong with
pretty
our?
bad.
That scared the crap out of me. It still scares the crap out of me. My kids are like, "Oh, that's so cheesy, Mom." I'm like, "No, this is scary shit."
Yeah, it was.
all right,
It was scary.
actually, I think I'll never forget when my son was little. You know, me and his dad were split up, and he was at his dad's house, and he came home, and his dad let him watch Poltergeist,
Oh God.
Oh,
and
I
he
love
was
that movie.
probably about 8 years old, and he had a tree outside his window, and he came running into my bedroom because the tree was scraping his window. And I was like, I went off on on his daddy. I was like, how can you let him watch this? I'm the one, you let him watch it and send him home to me. I have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But
His
How about
imagination was random
Chucky?
wild.
How about Chucky? Was
That
that
one
based?
actually gave me nightmares. I don't know if it was based on a true story or not. I'm not sure, but it sounds really close to a story I heard before the Annabelle story about a doll being possessed by a bad criminal person. So I think it was based off that story. I'm not sure.
I thought I heard something like somebody put a curse on the doll and gave it to a little boy or something.
I think they cursed the man's spirit. They stuck it to the doll. Like they cursed the man. Is his name Xavier? Is that was his name in the movie? Charles
I
Xavier. What was his name? Is Charles Xavier? No, that's the guy that made Cabbage
No,
Patches. Never mind.
that's X-Men.
Huh?
I said
Oh.
Charles Xavier, isn't that X-Men?
Oh, I thought it was the guy that his name is on the butt of the booty or the butt of the what do they call Cabbage Patch dolls? I thought that was something Xavier. It reminded me of the X-Men guy, but there's some story about a criminal that his spirit was tied or bound through voodoo, I think, to some kind of doll. And I think I read articles saying that was partially inspiration for Child's Play, but I don't know if that's true or not.
let's say, now that you're talking about that, I'm really thinking back. My biggest saying is I really need to reevaluate my friends because I got crazy friends. But that made me go back to my childhood. I'm going, I've always picked the crazies. I remember we were at a friend of mine's house and she had a Chucky doll. And of course, I don't know, was it her? Was something going on? But it was like 3 or 4 of us girls staying the night. She had a playhouse in the back that looked like her house.
Mm-hmm.
And in her closet, or something was going on, and Chucky was kind of moving around the bedroom. Now, again, kids, one of the kids probably moved it around. But I remember one of her stuffed animals was like torn apart where the stuffing was coming out. So I
Oh
went
yeah.
I went in the playhouse and I slept in the playhouse that night. I didn't sleep in her bedroom because you can't
Yeah.
in the closet. Which, again, I mean, looking back, could have been anything. But when you're a young kid, you're jumping it. Your mind goes straight to
Did
the.
any of y'all have a doll that had an animatronic face that moved and the eyes that moved and the mouth that moved and it talked or cried or made noises
No,
when
I
you were
wish I
little?
did.
Or the peeing and pooping, dolls that ate food. I had one. I don't remember what it was called. But me and my sister threw it in the closet every night and shut it up in there because when we'd go to bed, and it would go off when we were in bed, and we would freak out and have nightmares about Chucky coming to get us because of that doll. It would be in the closet, and we always thought that our houses, the 2 different houses that we grew up in, were haunted. But my mom was like, "No, that's not. You're just making that up. You're just your imagination's running wild." But the doll that we had, it would move its eyes and its mouth would move and it would make noises like it was eating, and it would do it in the middle of the night in the closet while everyone was asleep, and we were like convinced that doll was haunted.
See now, my mom did a lot of crocheting, and the
Mhm.
doll that you got like half the body, and you crochet the rest of them.
Yeah.
So she made. I still got them around my house. Some of them around my house, but she made so many of them. And I was a Barbie doll collector, so my mom had put those wire shelves around like several layers of my wall, and she made me all different types of those crochet dolls. And when I was a kid, they didn't scare me because when you lay them down, their eyes closed, open, whatever.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, the older I got, the more of those I had, the more I gave away. I was like, yeah, you want something of my mom's? Here, have a doll. Because I promise you, I had about 40 of those things around my room.
Yeah.
And they were all just staring back at me half the time.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
I have it's not a Chatty Cathy doll, but it's something like that, like something Susie. I can't remember. My mom said she had one when she was little, and it's not Chatty Cathy, but it's another doll that came out. It was basically kind of like a competition for Chatty Cathy doll. I have one, and everyone freaks out every time they see this doll. And they're like, oh my gosh, that doll's so creepy. I can't sit with it in the room because it's staring at me, because they say its eyes move everywhere they go, which, I mean, they probably don't, but it's pretty creepy.
Ooh, The Hills Have Eyes is supposed to be like based on a true story.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh,
Yeah.
is it really?
The
Oh my
Hills Have
goodness.
Eyes. That's creepy.
Yep.
It is. Oh, I'm gonna look that up. I think I could see how that could be real, but that would still be that much more scary. Ugh.
Yeah, supposedly they ate like over 1,000 people.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Like I said, I didn't realize when I was doing my research how many. But I mean, like I said, a lot of artists get their inspirations from reality. It's just where they take it. But
Hey, look. Scott said my grandmother crocheted dolls. Creep the hell out of me.
I'll have to bring the one that I got, because of course, you start handing these out, because like my niece and nephew had never met my mom, so I started handing them out. Well, when my grandmother passed away, I got the one my mom made my grandmother back in my possessions. I'm like, they're starting to come back. Like, these dolls are coming back.
If we all lived closer, we could just open like a little haunted museum, because I have so many things that at one time me and a friend had planned to try to open and rent out a building to turn it into like a paranormal museum in Fort Smith, Arkansas. It didn't happen because the rent building was too expensive and that friend moved away, but I could probably feel half of one.
Well, I was fortunate, and I'm not going to say where it was from, but this sweet person took me to a location. I was able to get a brick from that location, and I was thinking I bring it in, it's going to be haunted and all. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it did or if something else just followed me in. But my husband's been noticing doors opening and shutting in my house, but nothing bad. But we think that came from somewhere else. But yeah, I'm trying to. I was kind of hoping that would be my little haunted object.
I know to self, don't visit Rosie. That's funny.
I'm looking at you. Visit Rosie.
Is that why no one comes to my house? No.
I'm gonna take a bag and.
I thought it just smelled funny, or they didn't like the dog jumping all over him because he gets overly excited. I was wrong.
Those are the creepy dogs you got.
Would you rather have been it smells funny?
No, I was just joking. It just came out of the.
Don't you have a Raggedy Ann behind you?
I do. I have a couple pair that's a female and a male that were donated to a place. I worked at a couple of different donation centers and accumulated most of the objects that I have from those places over here.
Rebecca, I still want one of your bricks. Just saying. So next time you get Donald in the attic.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Dog hair.
I got one. I got Raggedy Ann and Andy. Their eyes do kind of move sometimes, and my dog. Yes, they do. And my dog barks at them.
Yeah, this one's really small, but I have a big Raggedy Ann and Andy set, and the girl came with a diaper on her. I just left it on. I think that some little kid probably played with it and acted like it was, a real baby or something. I just left it that way.
No, Rebecca, she just bought a house last year that was in 1894? It was built or something like that. Tell me what year, Rebecca. But she was out of town when they were moving in. So me and her husband were there moving their stuff from one house to the other. We went up in the attic, and they've got 1898. Thank you. We went up in. It's kind of got, what do you call it? It's like the top, like a castle, the top of a castle. What's that area called?
Like a tower, a wing.
Yeah. Rebecca, you're still on. What is it called that I'm thinking? But anyways, we went in there. There is still bricks from when they were building it from 1898, and they didn't bring one down for me. So I'm gonna have to come down up there and get me one.
Yeah, that's old.
She said open things would happen in my house. That's smart, Irene. I don't usually allow anything uncontrolled that's haunted in my possession. It has to be controlled.
I want something uncontrolled in my possession. I want to find something.
You have power.
If you want me to
That's
send
enough.
you something to
don't
check
count.
out, I can
That don't
find you
count.
something and send it to you, Jackie. I will find
That
you
don't
something.
count.
You can send me something. I'll take it.
She doesn't remember what it's called. Huh?
I said, I'll take something. Send it to me.
I have another thing that someone was supposed to contact me about. They were supposed to be doing a TV show, and they contacted me once, and they didn't get back to me again. It's a mask. I showed it to Howard one time. It looks like the green Chinese devil masks are like what are they called? They're like a mask that looks kind of like a devil. It's very common in Japan, not Chinese. It's Japan. Like some kind of like devil looking, yeah, demonic looking mask.
Scott, nobody wants you.
Is owning myself count?
Nobody wants Scott, so he can only own himself.
Mm-hmm. This is true. Yeah, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Random things that are, not all of them are haunted, just some of them cause weird things to
Creepy.
happen. Yeah.
They're creepy too.
Well, that mask actually caused crazy stuff to happen at my house because I gave it away to somebody for a while and I told them to keep it for a while. And then I brought it back and stuff started happening again because I was trying to test if that was what it was or if it was something else. And I brought it back and stuff started happening again. And I was like, what the heck is up with this and where did it come from? It doesn't have any identification on it. When people donate it, they drop it off in a trash bag. You go through it, you pull it out, and you have no clue where it came from. Oh, it's an Oni mask, I think. I think that's what it is. She said Oni mask. Well, maybe it's not. Then that one brings good luck.
Did it give you good luck?
No. If good luck is being afraid all the time because weird stuff happens and noises and things, no.
I have enough of that going on. That won't trip me out if something like that happened.
I don't know. Maybe it was something. It was called something else. And I think it was a longer name than that. Well, I don't know if someone did something to it or not.
Oh.
Now they got really quiet. What's up with that?
Scott said a honey mask. 5 minutes left. What other stories? What about some places you guys have been to? You want to talk about anywhere you've been in the next 5 minutes that something weird has happened to you, or leave it undisclosed and just tell the story? Thank you.
I know you get something.
I don't know. I mean, I lived in so many haunted houses, but I don't know if they're like haunted or if like stuff's just following me around because I just but I used to live in a house where the funny thing is that my stepfather was supposed to be like this big masculine, rough and tough man. He was scared shitless of it. He used to blame the cats for everything. And I mean, like for water turning on, we'd all be sitting around watching TV in the living room, but the kitchen faucet would go on and he'd blame the cats. And then cabinets would open and close and slam close and stuff. And he'd blame the cats. And doors would open and close and he'd blame the cats. Lines would open and close. Those pull down ones, that you have to pull down and then you have to like do a special little thing for it to snap back up. Yeah. Well, sometimes they would just snap back up by themselves. But, and that's like a normal thing sometimes for shades. But for them to slowly come down all on their own without anybody there, that's what would happen in our house. And my stepdad would blame the cats.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something the cats could always do.
The cats and the dogs always take the blame.
If that was a cat that did that, you should have joined. You should have put your cat in the circus so you could make money. For tricks. Yeah.
But yeah, I've lived in so many haunted houses. So it's just a normal thing. Again, everything's haunted in Connecticut. So, and then of course it all follows me around. And then I lived in some pretty interesting places in Eau Claire. The one house that I lived in particular, you know, he lived with me, or they lived with me. I don't know. I had some spirits in there, and they like to hang out and watch TV and change the channels on us, and so and like just walk around. You'd hear him walking around. You'd be alone, completely alone in the house, and you'd be hearing footsteps, like boots walking and stuff like that. And it was kind of creepy, but at the same time, it was just, you know, you just get used to it, and you're just like, all right, you know. And they follow me around. I think they're even here, so where I live now. And this is a brand new house, like built brand new. Like we moved in the day it was done being built, and I still have stuff that happens. I think he still kind of watches TV and follows me around. But I see things like, you know, and I think this is him. I'm not really sure, but he, you know, just appears like a full apparition to me, like as if someone's like standing right next to me, but he'll like be headless. So I don't know if that's like being haunted or if this is just something that's following me around. I mean, I kind of feel like he's following me around because he seems to have the same clothing that everybody in my family keeps describing. So, but yeah. So I don't know if it's something from my childhood that just kind of like latched on and likes to hang out with me. But yeah, so a lot of places that I've lived at. Yeah.
Female Ghostbusters all the way.
Break it down. Hey, Shannon, I don't know if you heard earlier, but it's snowing over here. Would you like to go put a tent in my backyard?
That's funny. Linda said, did your cats act weird?
My cats? Oh, well, they're cats. Cats act weird no matter what. But yeah, they would hear like the footsteps, and then they'd run and leave me alone with the footsteps. Stuff like that. So yeah, they would hear and see things, and my dogs, you know, they bark at nothing. So yeah,
they're like,
yeah, my cats are there to protect me. So that's their job. Yep. Yeah. And all the shadow entities and things like that I've seen throughout my life. Fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, before we start closing it up, I do want to let everyone know that Jeremy is supposed to be getting out of the hospital tomorrow. So everyone keep him in your thoughts and whatever else you do. So I'm so excited to see that. We've been doing, forget the countdown to the new year. We were doing the countdown to Jeremy getting out of the hospital. Also, don't forget the Save Waverly Hills. If you don't know what that's about, go to www.savewaverlyhills.com. Please make sure that's the one you go to, not just the Waverly Hills. That was definitely a weekend to remember, Shannon. Then for a donation, I think it's a $25 donation, you do get a free Save Waverly Hills shirt. I got mine, love it. I was outside and it started glowing in the dark. I was like, cool, you know, I like this. Rosie, you got anything before we get off?
No, I don't know if y'all want to hang out when we finish and go off the air and decide what we're going to do next week or whatnot. But everybody watch Paranormal Swamp Talk and Petri Dish this week, and The Spectral Sailor. And Anne has live readings on what nights and what time and what place?
Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
On
so
both?
You got to figure that out. It's like Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Tuesday night, which would be 8 p.m. Central, and then Mountain would be 7, and then Pacific would be 6. And I have to go by Eastern Standard Time, otherwise Tucson doesn't change we don't change our time. So everybody else changes their time. So I get confused. So
Jackie?
No.
No.
I don't have none.
Thanks, Gabe. Hi, Irene.
Everyone have a awesome starting out 2022. Don't give up on whatever your goals are. Stick to them. And have a good night. Thanks for joining us, guys, girls.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Bye.